As some of you know me already, some of you know where I'm from, some of you know where I live, whatever. My name is Christiaan Joubert. My name is German. My surname is French. I'm South African. So there is that. Um, I'm here to talk to you about HubSpot. At the beginning, we saw a couple of you who said you work with Atlassian on a daily basis. I've already talked to some of you, but who works with HubSpot? Okay, so some of you might find this interesting. So yes, I am the product owner of the HubSpot apps at Resolution. I'm also in the marketing team, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about HubSpot. Before I go into the demonstration of exactly what we want to showcase with our use case, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of the app. So we started developing the app 3 years ago. It was very basic. We saw a need to integrate HubSpot with Confluence to have HubSpot customer data available inside of Confluence. We started fairly simple. You could only integrate 25 objects at a time, which is pretty limiting because as the company grows, you're going to have more than 25 deals, customers, and so on. It's always my computer, sorry. So from there, we looked at what our customer needs and what our customers wanted. We had quite a few interactions with customers. We did a couple of interviews, and we are still open to interviews. So if any of you are interested in talking to us about HubSpot, we would appreciate that. I'm glad I didn't have a presentation. So let me tell you a little bit. As I've mentioned, the app started small. We started these sessions with the customers to try and see what their use cases are, because we wanted to make sure that we steer our development team on the right track to develop this app exactly to what our customers wanted to achieve. So what is that exactly? What are the benefits and features of using this app? Because is it just an integration, or what does it do? So customers currently benefit from having instant access to all of their customer data inside of Confluence. They don't have to have HubSpot licenses because we know what those cost. I don't like to talk about cost, but we know HubSpot is not the cheapest. So you have access to your HubSpot information. There it is, thank you. To your HubSpot information in Confluence without having to pay for those additional licenses. This also means that there are no longer salespeople, or whatever the case might be, people from HubSpot gatekeeping the customer information inside of HubSpot, because you now have access to it in Confluence as well. So what you can also benefit is the cross-platform and cross-team collaboration, because I guarantee you, once you have access to all of that information, you will work closer with other teams as well. Like we said, you're going to save licensing costs, so I'm not going to go into that. And you're also able, for the users who live in Confluence and not in HubSpot, they are more accurately able to see what is going on in a deal, because now they've got access to that information inside of Confluence and they can make informed decisions. So for example, if a deal is at risk, you can look at it, you can see at what stage it is. Is it important to take action on something now, or whatever the case might be, because you actually have access to that information. Now, let's talk to some of the benefits of the app. So for example, the app grew quite a lot. And we know you can see a lot of customer information inside of the app. This means some of those information might be a little bit sensitive. We allow you to restrict which user groups have access to that information, just so that your sensitive HubSpot information doesn't get in the hands of the wrong person. With that, we also started supporting custom properties. We didn't because, as some of you who use HubSpot know, that there are hundreds of HubSpot properties that they offer, but we also support the custom ones. As for how the content is displayed in the Confluence page, I'll get into that in a minute. You'll see it's displayed in different tables and you can fully customize those tables. And we'll go into it and you'll see exactly what I mean, because For each and every view, it's important to you to have quick access to the relevant information at a quick glance. You can also create HubSpot data with inside of Confluence. This is a little bit of a tricky one because we also know that sometimes HubSpot like to drive up the price due to how many objects you have in your instance. So you have to be careful with that. But we have restrictions in place where you can set which user groups have access to create new objects from Confluence. You can also go so far as to use your HubSpot filters to search for HubSpot data inside of Confluence without having to embed the data into a Confluence page. Then, why would you use the app? Well, it's simple. If you want your business to succeed and your teams to collaborate more effectively together, then this is absolutely the app for you, because you can see so quickly all of the relevant information. And a strong use case for that is, I'm going to mention a customer from the US that we had one of these first interviews with. It was a customer who was one of the first customers, users of the app. And for them, they had a very niche use case. They had their sales manager inside of HubSpot, but all of their account managers were living on Confluence. So this was a little bit tricky because they didn't want to pay the additional licenses on HubSpot for these account managers to actually have direct access to their customer information in HubSpot. So they dedicated Confluence pages to them. So each account manager was assigned a dedicated Confluence page, and all of the data, customer data that belonged to that specific account manager was embedded in that Confluence page. But they had the restriction that at the time it didn't support custom fields, and we also only supported up to 25 properties at a time. We went to the drawing board and we said, okay, fine, we'll support 50. It wasn't long. They came back. They said, we want 100. Fair enough. We did that for them. They came back. They said, no, we want 200. And well, the developer looked at me and he said, you know what, I'm just going to make it unlimited because this is going to go back and forth for quite a while. So we did that. But I think that's the important part, that we work really closely with our customers to make sure that we deliver on their use cases. We actively listen to our customers so that we can better develop our apps and make sure that we steer it in the right direction and that it makes sense. So let me actually dig into, because the use case is also what we have used in our demo, and I've kind of piggybacked off of what Jack created for us. So let me get into that. So I'm not going to explain what Confluence is because you already heard that. If we go into our Confluence pages, and like I said, here we have dedicated account manager, well, in this case, product marketers, who's got their own Confluence pages. So here we're going to use Finn as an example. So Finn has a dedicated page. You can see at a quick glance his HubSpot contacts, his HubSpot companies, and his deals. The important thing that I'm going to focus on here is the deals. And the reason for that is, like we said, the campaigns that we created inside of Confluence, this is where it all makes sense. Because we know that some of these were created specifically for social, whether it's paid social or organic social. But now that we can see inside of our deals, we can see this is paid social and it all came from TikTok. That's important because then we know, at least from our other Confluence pages, the campaigns that we've created there, which ones are aligned with which. If I use another example, we will see that there are another source called organic social, and this time it's YouTube. So in this way, it's a quick glance to make sure that you know exactly where your deals are coming from. How effective are your campaigns that are set up inside of your Confluence? What I can also show you is a little bit of an overview. So this is where Jake, your marketing manager, would want to see all contacts, all companies, and all deals. But from here, we also had the problem that customers wanted to be able to view HubSpot information without actually having to embed it into these Confluence pages. So that's why we allowed them to actually go to a search page and filter for the specific objects that they want. So here I'm going to say email contains @customer. And there I can see my properties. So if a property is not existing here, and obviously we know if it's not existing, it's not in HubSpot. So if it needs to exist, I can go ahead and create it by clicking here. So here I can select which object it is. It's going to be a contact. Jack, sorry, I'm going to piggyback off of your name. Jack Graves. Create contact, and I'll get a success screen. So if I navigate into HubSpot and I go into my contacts, there I can see Jack has been created. So that is the long and the short of this app. It's a very unique, simple app to use. But it's very effective in tracking your deals or even your companies and your contacts. We also have another app similar to this one. It's called HubSpot for Jira. They go hand in hand. So if you want, go and try it out. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm very plain and simple. I'm open to questions.